What's up guys? Well, today we are just going to paint. In this one it's gonna be a girl is taking a nap. Alright, anyways, let's get started. It takes about 30 minutes. So I start off with a really desaturated blue background, and then I add the ground floor using lasso tool. Just fill in the paint bucket and add some texture onto the floor to make it look woody, sort of wooden floor or something like that. Just add a bunch of texture to create some noise and grime. Then adding some highlights onto that layer on top. Then I'm just gonna start creating a couch using a lasso tool again. Lasso tool is pretty quick for, especially when you're trying to make something that have a basic geometry form. Then you can always go in and tweak it later, adding some paint on the edge. But now I'm just making a selection tool so that I don't paint over the edge of these couches, and adding some light onto the leather couches, and adding some, using a texture brush to create some form and contour line to make this couch look like it has form. And now I'm adding the legs and some shadow underneath it, and that's a little too dark, so I toned down the opacity. As you can see, all of these layer lasso tool that I paint, I put them on a separate layer, and then I make another layer to create a figure. Just gonna be a lady laying on a couch with some kind of a book that she may be reading, and she falls asleep, taking a nap time. So I'm start off with the head and the arms, and then torso, and then her legs. Leave some space for clothing. Move the couch a little bit, shorten it, because when I start painting the figure, it's look a bit too short for the couch, and I want her legs to hang out on the armrest. And this, since this is a quick painting, so never mind the feet and the hand in the end. As long as you get the main idea and the main light and shadow, and afterwards, if this one look like it has potential, then you can always go take it a bit further, go and refine some, tighten up some loose end. And then her blankets, painting it on the layer behind the figure. Just using some texture brush that has some sort of like a furish or a little bit of grimy texture to create some soft effect. And then some of the blankets cover her body. And since the blanket is kind of thick, so I have to create the big thick cover the body, so it's not like a thin sheet that it will drape over the form of your body. So this one is a thicker blanket, so it's have the mass, and it create a different silhouette than just her body. So if it was like a thin sheet, then you can just drape over the body and just have the contour around the body. So now I'm painting her hair. A very simple silhouette, adding some light. In this case, I just picked the color, basically the lighter color, maybe mixing with blue a little bit, since the blue is in the background color. So, or you can just desaturate the warm hue, and you get that kind of grayish or more desaturated brown, so it look like it has blue in it. Then Now I'm just gonna adding a facial feature, just the main part, like some nose going the other way, she's looking the other way, and then clean up the silhouette of the body a little. Now I'm just gonna add her top. And I'm just using two tones to create light and shadow on her tank top. And give it a little bit more form. Then her shorts. So basically at this point, I'm pretty much focusing on the shape, the silhouette, and the direction of the light, where the shadow and the lights are. And if you notice, there's only two base value on each part of the clothes. So on the orange, it will be brighter orange and darker orange, and then darker blue and lighter blue. So it's pretty basic. Now I'm just selecting just the skin body part and adding some reddish hue, and add some darken up a little bit to keep the skin some life, because skin is not only one color, so you have to add maybe some red or some blue onto it. Some part of the skin on the body have a paler or a bluer, cooler effect, and usually on the outer limbs, like your hands or your feet, they get a little bit more tan or more red. And then I'm just trying to get the detail on her earlobes. Basically, these are not tiny detail. These are I'm trying to get the shape, like the eye socket, the nose, and the lips. Not totally zooming in and trying to get every single eyelash or anything like that. Focus on the big shape, because you have to get the big shape correct first. And now I kind of screwed up on the face a little proportion, so I'm just gonna repaint it again. Adding some light onto the side of her face, some shadow underneath her chin, and some light on the side of her nose. Trying to get the eye socket right. It's getting there, just the basic shape. And accuracy or precision is pretty important. There's not a lot of rendering going on here. Just get the 100% opacity of the correct value and put it on the right spot. Then correcting the blankies a little bit. I decided to have the blankie go over the other side of her face. Because otherwise it will be like on the corner of the chin you have like the brown and the green and the skin tone, so it's make it too busy. So I just make it simple, just to push the blanket up and create a more or a better readable silhouette onto the profile of the face. Now I'm just cleaning up the silhouette of the skin or the body. You see all those paint that kind of going over the smooth lines, so I'm trying to make all the silhouette of the body smoother. have a cleaner edges. But on the hand and the feet, probably not gonna have time to refine them, but basically it's the same principle. You're just gonna have to go in and make the edge looks good before you go in and trying to paint toes or finger or anything like that. So make the silhouette readable and in the accurate proportions, probably the most important thing at this point. So now I'm making some kind of tree and a in the, what do you call these, bucket, a vase, using lasso tool and texture brush, and then adding some shadow. And I should give the blanket some lighting. I'm gonna do the notebook first. So just using lasso tool, creating a blue book, book cover. Then I'm gonna go and create some pages underneath it. Then gonna add some more shadow onto the blanket and creating some fold and wrinkle. Just enough to make it readable that a person is lying on it. And usually the darkest area will be where the two objects meet, like, you know, the body right next to the blanket. They'll create a deep shadow, or where the fold crease happen, that right next to each other. And as it go further apart, the shadow become lighter. Now I'm just gonna add some funny looking cat there using lasso tool again. This one will be a black cat. And just give it a texture to make it look like it has fur on this ball shape with a tail. Add some legs and some whisker. Decided to not giving it a nose, but in the end I have the eyes, and then I make a copy of the cat, flip the tail, and make it a different color. So like a Siamese color pattern there. Then I think in the end I give it the blue eyes. So now I'm going back to the figures and I had a little bit more time to spare. Then I add some soft brush and probably some highlights. I give her knees a little bit reddish. Adding some highlights. Then I'm gonna give it a shadow there, because the blanket casting a shadow on her left leg. And then I'm gonna give it a hot spot or super highlight there on the knees, and then cleaning up some of the hand, giving it a better silhouette for the forearm. So we're almost out of time here. Give the book the title a little. There we go. So here is adding some darker part on the. So here we have the final render of this. I think in the end I add the blue eye to the cats. So here's a final image of the nap time with the figure. I decided to add pencil on here and then give the cat blue eyes, change it a little. And the feet, I just leave it like that because I didn't have time to finish it up. And anyways, if you have any questions, post them down in the comment. So hopefully I'll get a better one and more exciting painting next time. Bye bye.